My girlfriend said, "Everyone uses dating apps. Stop being insecure." But when I asked to see her phone, she refused, then tried to gaslight me and begged me not to leave until I demanded the $10,000 I lent her back. She broke down in tears, paid me, and I walked away forever. I'm 34, and I thought I had finally found the kind of relationship people talk about when they say the right one. For the past 2 years, I'd been with my girlfriend, and in the beginning, everything felt solid. She was sweet, caring, and we had this easy flow between us. We went on trips together, met each other's families, spent weekends binging shows, and I truly believed we were building something lasting. But over time, small things started to chip away at that picture-perfect image. At first, they were little habits that didn't sit right with me. She'd be overly protective of her phone, always making sure the screen was tilted away or locked quickly if I happened to glance in its direction. She'd sometimes disappear for a couple of hours with vague explanations like just hanging out with a friend or running errands. Nothing glaringly obvious, but enough that I noticed. The biggest red flag came when I realized she still had a dating app on her phone. I didn't go snooping. It wasn't like I picked up her phone and searched through it. But one evening, when she was scrolling and turned her screen just a little too far, I caught a glimpse of the app's icon. My stomach twisted, but I told myself maybe I was overthinking. Still, that thought kept eating at me. 2 years into a committed relationship, why would anyone still keep a dating app? It's not like it serves any purpose if you're serious about someone. I brushed it off the first time, convincing myself it was nothing. But then I saw it again a few weeks later, and that's when I couldn't ignore it anymore. One night, while we were sitting on the couch, I decided to ask her directly. I didn't want to sound accusing, but I also needed an answer. I said, "Hey, I noticed you still have a dating app on your phone. Why? We've been together for 2 years. Shouldn't that be gone by now?" She looked at me, laughed lightly, and waved it off as if I'd just made a joke. "Oh, come on. Everyone uses this app. It doesn't mean anything. I don't post pictures. I don't like anyone's photos. It's just there. I don't even open it." Her response didn't sit well with me. Everyone uses it? That's not true. Plenty of people delete dating apps once they're in a committed relationship. And if it doesn't mean anything, then why keep it at all? It felt dismissive, like she was brushing off a very real concern. So I pressed a little further. I said, "If it's really not a big deal, then show me your account. Prove to me you're not using it." The second those words left my mouth, her whole demeanor shifted. Her smile faded, her body stiffened, and she leaned back slightly as if I'd crossed some invisible line. She didn't laugh it off this time. She didn't offer reassurance. She just stared at me, silent, as if she was trying to calculate her next move. That silence told me more than I wanted to know. In that moment, I realized this wasn't going to be a simple, harmless explanation. Something wasn't adding up, and deep down, I could already feel the truth starting to reveal itself. As soon as I asked her to show me her account, her face changed completely. The playful tone was gone. She crossed her arms and said flatly, "No, I'm not giving you my phone. I have personal things on there. It's my private space." That answer hit me wrong. Look, I get privacy. I don't believe in going through someone's phone just because you can. But if she truly had nothing to hide, if the app really meant nothing like she claimed, then why react like this? Why double down so quickly? I tried to keep calm and explain myself. "I'm not asking to dig through your entire phone. I just want to see what's going on with that app. We've been together for 2 years, and it doesn't make sense for you to still have it. If it's nothing, then just prove it." Instead of reassuring me, she flipped the script. Her voice rose, sharp and defensive, as she snapped, "Why are you being so insecure? A modern man doesn't act like this. You should trust me. Only insecure guys make a big deal about this kind of thing." That line stopped me cold. It wasn't just the words. It was how quickly she tried to make me the problem. I wasn't accusing her of cheating. I wasn't yelling or prying. I had asked a straightforward question, one anyone in my shoes would ask. And somehow, she spun it to make me feel like I was weak for even bringing it up. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about an app. This was about manipulation. Her defensiveness, the way she immediately put me on the defensive instead of clarifying her own actions. It all started connecting in my head. I thought back to the other times she dodged my calls with vague excuses, the moments she claimed she was too busy with friends, but would vanish for hours, the way she guarded her phone like it was a vault. It wasn't adding up, and now I couldn't ignore it. I sat there, looking at her, and the thought hit me harder than I expected. She was probably talking to other guys. Whether it was casual chats, flirting, or something more, I couldn't prove it yet, but her reaction made it painfully clear that she was hiding something. I tried one more time, calmer this time, almost pleading, "Look, I've never questioned your privacy before. But this one thing, it doesn't make sense. You can't just tell me I'm insecure for asking. If there's nothing to hide, then just be honest with me." She rolled her eyes, muttering under her breath, "You're overreacting. I can't believe you're turning this into a big deal." That stung even more than the defensiveness. I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't asking for her social security number or bank details. I was asking her to prove her commitment to our relationship. In that moment, sitting across from her, I felt a shift inside me. I realized I was no longer trying to find reassurance. I was looking for confirmation of what I already suspected. The trust one once had in her felt like it was slipping away, replaced with this sinking clarity that she wasn't the person I thought she was. She sat there, arms folded, avoiding eye contact, as if daring me to keep pushing. And that silence, combined with the excuses, the dismissiveness, the accusations of insecurity, told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a red flag waving right in my face. And deep down, I knew what was coming next. I leaned forward and finally said the words I had been holding back. "If you're really hiding things and still using dating apps, I'm done. I want to break up." Her eyes widened, and for a second, she looked almost stunned that I wasn't letting this go. Then, almost instantly, her tone shifted. Gone was the sharp, defensive attitude from earlier. Instead, she reached for my hand and said softly, "No, honey, please don't say that. I really love you. I don't even use dating apps anymore. I've been loyal to you this whole time. Please don't throw this away." It was like she flipped a switch. Suddenly, she was vulnerable, pleading, acting like the thought of losing me was unbearable. But I couldn't ignore the fact that just minutes ago, she had been belittling me, calling me insecure, making me feel like I was the problem. I pulled my hand back and said firmly, "If you're telling the truth, then show me your phone. That's all I'm asking. Show me, and I'll believe you." She hesitated. For a few seconds, she just sat there frozen, her eyes darting back and forth like she was searching for an answer. Finally, she whispered, "Please understand me. My personal things are in there. I can't show you, but I swear, there's nothing on it." That was it. The moment of truth. Her refusal told me everything I needed to know. If she truly cared about our relationship, if she really wanted to ease my doubts, she would have done the one simple thing that could have proven her innocence. Instead, she chose to protect her privacy at the cost of our relationship. And that's when the final piece clicked in my head. She wasn't just hiding personal things. She was hiding conversations, matches, maybe even dates. Whatever it wasn't innocent. I felt this strange calm come over me. My voice didn't rise, my hands didn't shake. I just looked at her and said, "I can't do this anymore. I don't want to waste another day in a relationship built on lies." Her face crumpled, and she leaned forward quickly, her voice breaking. "No, please. Don't say that. I made a mistake, okay? But I never cheated on you. I don't know why I didn't delete it. Maybe I liked the attention sometimes, but it didn't mean anything. You're the one I love. Please, don't leave me." For a brief second, hearing her admit that, I felt a mix of anger and sadness. Anger because I had been right, sadness because the person I loved had just confirmed she had been disrespecting our relationship this whole time. I shook my head. You don't get to say it didn't mean anything. Keeping a dating app while you're with someone for 2 years? That means everything. That means you never took this seriously. She started crying then, real tears streaming down her face, and tried to hug me. I stood up instead. My mind was made up. For 2 years, I gave her my trust. And in return, she kept the door open for other people. No amount of tears or begging could change what I had just realized. Our relationship was already over, and she was only fighting because she didn't want to face the consequences. I turned toward the door, ready to walk out. But just when I thought it was over, she brought up something I had completely forgotten about. I was already halfway to the door when her voice cracked behind me. "Wait, please don't go. I'll pay you back. Please don't leave me like this." I froze. For a moment, I didn't even process what she meant. And then it hit me. The money. About a month earlier, she had come to me in tears, saying she was in the middle of an emergency. She said she was short on rent and had some overdue bills piling up. I didn't hesitate. I wired her $10,000 to help her get through it. I didn't think twice, because at the time, I loved her and believed we were in this together. That's what you do for someone you see a future with. But hearing her bring it up now, right after I said I was leaving, made my chest tighten. Out of everything she could have said, the first thing that came out of her mouth wasn't about fixing us, wasn't about making things right. It was about money. I turned around slowly. "You'll pay me back?" I repeated, my voice flat. She nodded quickly, her tears still streaming. Yes, I'll give it all back. Just don't walk out like this. Please, we can work this out." That moment told me more about her than the last 2 years combined. Suddenly, it wasn't about losing me. It was about losing her safety net, her comfort, maybe even her financial cushion. I stared at her for a long second, then said quietly, You weren't even thinking about the money until you realized I was serious about leaving. Her lips trembled, and she tried to protest. No, no, it's not like that. I just wanted you to know that I'll take responsibility. I'll fix this. Please, give me another chance. But the damage was already done. The more she begged, the clearer it became. She thought she had me wrapped around her finger. She probably assumed I'd never bring up the loan again, that I'd keep funding her lifestyle while she kept one foot out the door. I stepped closer and said, "This isn't about the money. This is about trust. And you broke it." Her crying grew louder. She buried her face in her hands and muttered, "I messed up, okay? But I swear, I never wanted to hurt you. I can delete the app right now. I'll prove it. Just don't leave me." But it was too late. Deleting the app in front of me now wasn't proof of anything. It was just damage control. She had already shown me her true priorities: attention from other men, manipulation when questioned, and now scrambling to protect herself once she realized the financial piece was on the line. I shook my head and walked back toward the door again. "We're done. I'll get my money back. But as for us, there's nothing left." Her sobs echoed behind me, and for a second, I thought she might give up. But then, just as I reached for the handle, I heard her whisper, "You'll never take that money back from me." That stopped me in my tracks. I turned around slowly, and the look on her face was completely different now. The begging and crying were still there, but behind her eyes, there was something else, a flash of defiance. Like she thought she still had control of the situation. And in that instant, I realized this wasn't over yet. Her words hung in the air. "You'll never take that money back from me." I turned to face her fully. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. The tears were still rolling down her face, but her jaw was set in this strange mix of guilt and stubborn pride. It was like she thought she could control the situation with just enough crying and enough resistance. For a moment, I didn't even respond. I just looked at her, really looked at her. This was the same woman who, just a few months ago, told me she saw a future with me. The same woman who would hold my hand at night and whisper that I was the best thing that ever happened to her. And now here she was, basically telling me she had no intention of ever paying me back what I'd given out of love and trust. I said evenly, "So that's how you really see me? A guy you can use, who'll just hand over 10 grand and never ask for it back." She flinched, her voice cracking. "No, that's not what I meant. I didn't think you'd actually ask for it. I thought you were doing it because you cared about me. That's what people do when they love someone." The way she said it made my chest tighten, but not in the way it used to. It wasn't love I felt in that moment. It was anger. Anger that she was trying to twist what I did for her, as if kindness and support automatically meant she had a free pass to disrespect me. "You're right," I said, my voice low. "I did it because I cared about you. But now, I see what that meant to you. It wasn't love, it was an opportunity." Her tears turned into frantic pleading. She reached for me, clinging to my arm. "No, please, you're wrong. I love you, I swear. I made mistakes, but I can change. I'll delete the app. I'll cut everyone off. I'll prove it to you. Just don't walk away." I shook my head. "This isn't about deleting an app anymore. This is about the fact that you thought you could use me. And you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe most guys would just walk away and leave the money behind. But I'm not one of them." The look in her eyes shifted again, panic now mixing with desperation. She tried to laugh it off, like maybe if she made it sound casual, I'd soften. "Come on, you're really going to make this about money now? That's so petty. We've been together 2 years. Are you really going to throw all of that away over some app and some money?" I took a step back, freeing my arm from her grip. "No, I'm walking away because you lied to me, disrespected me, and tried to gaslight me into thinking I was insecure. The money? That's just proof of how far you were willing to go. And trust me, I will get it back." She went silent at that, staring at me as if she didn't recognize me anymore. Maybe she really believed I'd never stand up for myself, that I'd keep letting her set the rules. But that night, something inside me hardened. For the first time in 2 years, I wasn't looking at her through the lens of love or hope. I was looking at her for exactly who she was. And I decided I wasn't leaving without what was mine. The silence in the room was heavy after I told her I wasn't leaving without what was mine. She stared at me like I had just betrayed her, as if I was the one tearing everything apart. Then, in a shaky voice, she said, "You don't understand. If you really loved me, you wouldn't care about the money. You'd care about us." That line almost made me laugh, not because it was funny, but because of how predictable it was. She was trying to turn it back around again, make me look like the selfish one for asking for something that was rightfully mine. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "If you really loved me, you wouldn't have kept that app. You wouldn't have lied to my face. You wouldn't have thought you could use me and my money while keeping your options open." Her lips pressed into a thin line. She tried another tactic. "Fine. If this is about money, then maybe you weren't with me for the right reasons either. Maybe you only cared because I needed you. That one stung for half a second, but then the anger drowned it out. She was throwing anything she could at me, hoping something would stick, hoping I'd back down the way I always had when we fought in the past. I shook my head. No, you don't get to rewrite the story. I was there for you because I thought we were building something real. And now I see you never were. She bit her lip, the tears starting again. Please, just forget about the money. Stay, and I'll prove to you that I can be better. I'll show you. Don't let this end like this. Her voice cracked in just the right way that 2 years ago I would have caved. I would have hugged her, told her it was okay, and tried to believe her promises. But standing there now, after everything she had said and done, it didn't work anymore. You had 2 years to prove it, I said quietly. And you blew it. Now it's over. The mask slipped again. Her crying softened, and for a second, her face hardened into something cold. She wiped her tears roughly with her sleeve and said, Fine, take your money. But don't expect me to forgive you for humiliating me like this. That word, humiliating, hit me like a slap. She was the one who had lied. She was the one who had manipulated. She was the one who had betrayed trust. And somehow, in her mind, I was humiliating her by standing up for myself. I didn't even argue back. There was no point anymore. I just said, Good. Then we're on the same page. You pay me back, and we're done. She glared at me through her tears, then stormed off toward her bedroom. I could hear drawers opening and slamming shut, the sound of things being shuffled around. It was chaotic, frantic, like she was realizing she couldn't stall me anymore. I stayed where I was, calm but resolute. I wasn't leaving without closure. Not this time. After a few minutes, she came back out, clutching a small stack of envelopes and papers. Her face was red, her eyes puffy, but her hands were steady as she slapped the envelopes down on the table. There. Happy now, she muttered. I walked over slowly, opened the envelopes, and started counting. She stood across from me, arms folded, watching me with this bitter expression, like I was some heartless stranger. And as I counted, I realized something. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about finally seeing her without all the illusions, without the charm, without the fake apologies. She wasn't the woman I thought I loved. She never had been. I finished counting, and the total was exactly what I had given her. Every bill, every last dollar was there. For a moment, neither of us said anything. The only sound in the room was the faint rustle of paper as I tucked the cash back into the envelope. Her face dropped as reality settled in. The crying that had been so loud earlier now came out in softer, broken sobs. She looked at me the way someone looks at a door they know is closing forever. Please, she whispered, her voice raw. Don't do this. Don't leave me like this. But by then, I was done. I had checked out emotionally long before the money ever hit the table. Her tears didn't move me anymore. They felt hollow, like just another tactic in the long list of manipulations she had used to keep me around. I slipped the envelope into my jacket pocket and said calmly, I'm not doing anything to you. You did this to yourself. Her hands shook as she reached toward me, but I stepped back. I love you, she cried. I don't care about the app. I don't care about the money. None of that matters. Please, just stay. I shook my head. It all matters. Every lie, every excuse, every time you try to make me feel like I was crazy for noticing the truth, it all matters. And I won't ignore it anymore. She broke down completely then, covering her face with her hands. For the first time, I saw her not as the woman I had loved, but as someone who had finally run out of tricks. The mask she'd worn for 2 years, sweet, loving, dependable, was gone. What was left was raw, desperate, and full of regret. I walked to the door and put my hand on the handle. For a second, I hesitated, not because I wanted to stay, but because endings are never easy. Even when you know it's the right thing, there's a weight to shutting the door on someone you once believed in. She lowered her hands just enough for me to see her eyes, red and swollen, and whispered one last time, You'll regret this. You'll realize no one else will love you the way I do. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding and said, If this is your version of love, I'll take my chances without it. And with that, I walked out. I didn't look back. I didn't answer her calls. I blocked her on everything, social media, texts, email. There was no point in leaving doors open that would only lead me back to the same cycle of lies. In the days that followed, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Relief, anger, sadness, but most of all, clarity. I realized I had dodged something huge. If I had ignored the signs, I could have wasted years of my life on someone who never truly respected me. I got my money back, but more importantly, I got my dignity back. Looking back now, I see the situation for what it really was, a series of red flags I didn't want to acknowledge until I had no choice. The truth is, people reveal who they are in small ways long before they show it in big ones. You just have to be willing to pay attention. And honestly, Walking away was the best decision I ever made. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.